The Adria Tour drama seems to be never ending as the players who participated in the event keep speaking on it and cause controversy. Last week, Alexander Zverev was met with great backlash for being contradictory and partying in Monaco. Nick Kyrgios called him out for this, saying that the 23-year-old was selfish. For a refresher, here's what the Aussie said.
I see more controversial things happening all over the world, but one that stuck out for me was seeing Sasha Zverev again, man. Again. How selfish can you be? How selfish can you be? I mean, if you have the audacity to fucking put out a tweet that you made your management write on your behalf saying you're going to self-isolate for 14 days and apologizing to fucking general public putting their health at risk, at least have the audacity to stay inside for 14 days. My God. Have your girlfriend with you for fucking 14 days. Jesus, man. Pissing me off. This tennis world's pissing me off, seriously. How selfish can you all get?
Most people agreed with Kyrgios and that Zverev's actions were uncalled for, but six-time major winner Boris Becker believed that Nick shouldn't have said this publicly, calling him a rat. Now, it seems as if Dominic Thiem shares the same sentiments, as he too believes Nick was in the wrong. Thiem said to TT.com, "Kyrgios has built a lot of nonsense himself. I understand even less when he interferes with everything. It would be better if he came to terms with himself rather than always criticizing others. In all honesty, I don't understand why Dominic is coming for Nick like this, especially when in this situation he isn't in the wrong." Thiem says that he understands less when Nick interferes with everything, and I just don't understand how Kyrgios' statements are difficult to comprehend. He's speaking the truth, regardless of how others may feel, and I think that Thiem doesn't like the fact that he's being called out on similar BS. Now, Dominic at the end says something that a lot of people feel, which is that rather than criticizing others, Nick should deal with his own issues. I'm assuming that he was referring to the Aussie's on-court behavior, and I don't know why he would reference this, seeing that this entire situation has nothing to do with tennis play or etiquette. This is about the safety of people as a whole. Now, I think Dominic already had a chip on his shoulder when it came to Nick, as the Australian called him out about a month ago for being against a fund for lower-ranked players. Nick, as expected, just responded to Thiem's statements, tweeting, "What are you talking about, Dominic? Mistakes like smashing rackets, swearing, taking a few matches here or there? None of you have the intellectual level to even understand where I'm coming from. I'm trying to hold them accountable. This just shows what a joke Dominic, Alex, and Novak think this is. Two of them partying like potatoes during a global pandemic. People losing lives, loved ones, and friends, and then teams standing up for the mistake? These guys are at the top of our sport. Shake my head." Once again, I truly have no commentary on these tweets, except for that I believe he's right. This beef aside, Dominic also defended Zverev after all of the backlash he received, giving this response to the question topic. "He should have done it like me. He was also tested negatively, only his mistake was that he first wrote the statement, then was unlucky enough to be filmed at the party. But I don't like the way people criticize him. He is treated as if he were an elementary school child, but he's a 23-year-old man. Sure, he made a mistake, but I don't understand why everyone is getting involved." Now, this statement was very disappointing to hear, as everything he said was quite frankly very ignorant and uneducated. Instead of properly holding Zverev accountable for being a hypocrite and partying, Thiem says that his only mistake was posting his apology. He also goes on to say that Alex is being treated like an elementary schooler when he is 23. Again, people wouldn't be saying these things if Zverev didn't act like he was in elementary school. Lastly, Thiem says that he doesn't understand why everybody is getting involved. If what you do is made public and the thing done is harmful and can possibly put others at harm, people have every right to comment whenever they want. Simple. Thiem also defended Novak Djokovic after all the backlash he received after the positive test from the Adria Tour, saying, "He didn't commit a crime. We all made mistakes, but I don't understand the criticism. I've been to Nice and also saw pictures from other cities. It's no different from Belgrade during the tournament. It's too cheap to shoot at Djokovic now." This statement itself is very contradictory, as he first admits that they made mistakes, then says he doesn't understand the criticism. To me, this exemplifies Dominic's mindset, which is that if players make mistakes, non-pros and those not involved shouldn't say anything at all. I personally feel like much of the outrage directed towards Novak should have been given to the players themselves for engaging in the reckless activities surrounding the tour, but to say that there shouldn't be any criticism given his way is very ignorant. Moreover, Thiem revealed that he has been tested once a day after players from the Adria Tour were positive. He apparently drove to the airport to get tested, and after the negative result, he went to training. Finally, he doesn't see why he should stay home when he is healthy. This statement also brought about some criticism, as to some, it seems as if he thinks he is above everyone else who has been staying home when possible. To be honest, any criticism and attempts at getting some type of accountability are useless when it comes to Thiem, as it's clear he takes pretty much all concerns with a grain of salt. In other news, the ATP announced its ranking plan for the resumption of the tennis season come next month. The organization said, in anticipation of a return to competition in August, the rankings, which traditionally operate on a best 18 results basis over 52 weeks, would now cover a period of 22 months, March 2019 to December 2020. The rankings have been frozen since March 16, 2020, just days after the ATP Tour was suspended due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This means that a player's ranking would be compromised of his best 18 results between March 2019 and December 2020. Also, a player cannot count the same tour level tournament twice in his best 18 breakdown. For example, a player who played the Muto Madrid Open in 2019 and plays Madrid again in 2020 would count the better of those two results. Tour level tournament points added in 2020 that count in a player's ranking breakdown will remain on a player's ranking for 52 weeks or until the event in question is played again in 2021, whichever comes first. Eurosport explains how this will affect the top-ranked players. First, looking at Novak Djokovic, his main points from 2019 and this window are from his titles at Wimbledon, Madrid, and the Paris Masters. This site says that Novak will be the favorite to keep his number one ranking at the end of the year, as he retains the points he earned from his 2019 Wimbledon win until 2021, with the grass court Grand Slam being cancelled due to the pandemic in 2020. Djokovic will also keep points from his Madrid and Paris Masters wins, even if he decides to skip the events in 2020 or fares badly in them. He could also strengthen his position at the top of the rankings by improving on his fourth round exit at the US Open and defeat in the semifinals of the French Open and Cincinnati Masters. Rafa Nadal has 4 prominent titles within the window, as last year he won the Italian, French, Canadian, and US Opens. Even if he decides not to play in Rome, Paris, or New York, he will still keep these points and has a chance to gain some if he decides to travel to the United States and play the Cincinnati Open. World number 3 Dominic Thiem has big points from Indian Wells and the French Open, and has a big opportunity to gain points at the US Open as he suffered an opening round exit there last year. Roger Federer, who is currently sidelined due to a second knee surgery, seems to be the biggest winner from this revised system, because he's able to keep just about most of his points from 2019, including those gained from his Wimbledon final appearance. The Swiss is expected to finish the year inside the top 8. Lastly, at number 5 is Russian Daniil Medvedev, who's also a big gainer, as he keeps his points from his wins at Cincinnati, Shanghai, plus his finalist ones from the US Open. His biggest opportunity to gain is during the clay court season, as he lost in the first rounds of Rome, Madrid, and Paris last season. Speaking of the clay season, Rafa Nadal officially committed to play the Muto Madrid Open. Tournament director Feliciano Lopez made the announcement on Twitter saying, "I talked to my friend Rafa Nadal, and he has confirmed his participation in Madrid next September. We wait for you as always with open arms and the magic box. Rafa himself confirmed the news, tweeting back, "So am I, Philly. See you in Madrid in September. Hoping everything goes well." Now, the news caused many people to speculate whether Nadal plans on just skipping New York and play the clay season. This would make sense, seeing that he has previously expressed his doubts at playing in New York, plus, he'd have ample preparation for the clay court swing. I do think that Rafa will play the US Open if the event is even played, and the reason why I say if is because of Roger Federer. Apparently, Federer, while promoting his Roger Center Court shoes with On, said that the tournament organizers gave him key information about the event. I was in touch with the US Open organizers just yesterday. They told me they will decide between July 15th to 30th about what will happen. These are uncertain times for tennis. Traveling and quarantine are big problems. Now, while this news might be shocking or disappointing to hear, it is a very true reality that does need to be considered. With all of these positive tests, people are raising concerns of whether the US Open can go ahead, as they have to monitor hundreds of players. I know that many international players are concerned about their safety, rightfully so. I still do hope the tournament can go ahead safely. That's all for today's video, and let me know your thoughts on team statements. Do you agree that people shouldn't be criticizing the players, or should they be held accountable? Also, what are your thoughts on the ranking situation and Nadal committing to play Madrid? Will he skip the US Open? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified on new developments on these stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.